So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the session called Designing and Building Next Generation of Retail Stores. My name is Alen Poacha, and I'm a creative director at IQmetrics. I've been with IQmetrics for the past 2 years, and since then I started to be really interested in retail, specifically wireless retail, of course. My experience was somewhat similar, though. Even though I was not working in retail directly, a lot of notions kind of were similar. So the projects that I worked on for like, I don't know, 10, 15 years before the IQmetrics, Vancouver Olympic Ceremonies design was part of the core design team, Canada Pavilion at Expo Aichi, Japan, as well as Canada House at Torino Olympics, and SciTech Alcobar, probably like the biggest science center in Middle East, and some bigger master plan that we worked on, including Calgary Stampede. This sounds very distant from retail whatsoever, but what is really important, and the reason I'm giving this presentation to you today, is the notion of the physical place and the way you can enhance physical places with the new media, different kind of new media, and also having all that in place and understanding that is how do you actually enhance the overall brand experience of that particular place. So things that we're going to be talking about today is there a problem with wireless brick and mortar stores? And if we all agree that there is some kind of problem, what would it be? In addition, as a part of the problem, we'll be talking about clicks and we're talking about bricks. This is just try to analyze quickly what is something that is online that's sort of causing certain problems, and what is it in the physical stores that are causing problems. And then having those problems identified we'll try to give an answer. What would the next generation of retail stores be like? What would the elements be of those stores? And we'll just quickly touch, because this is the integral part of it, what is brand and what is brand experience? That's something you heard of in the awesome presentations from Doug and from Marcelo. I'll try to be even more concrete. So I'll just give you another look at the problem. And then we'll come to the main part of the presentation. Having this new brand experience stores, we'll try to analyze like what are the elements that would actually define those stores. And this is really something that I think would be very practical for you in the way you're thinking about design or thinking about the dynamics of your store. And next generation stores, we'll be actually talking about two models. One is convenience, one experience, very similar to Doug, what was Doug saying. Doug also was going a little bit to the future. I'll try to be more closer to the present time. I'm not saying that either approach is right or wrong. I'm just trying to be more practical in what I'll be presenting. So I'll just start with a little story, kick off the presentation. Not that long ago, there was a gentleman who had a great company. He employed a great talent, he had great products, and he used regular distribution channels to distribute the products. People just loved the products. He had a huge fan base, but he felt that he wanted and he needed to deliver something more. He wanted people to be completely immersed in his products. And he thought, what I'm going to try is I'll try to create a place where people can actually come and experience my products, my story, my brand firsthand, and we'll see how it goes. I just feel that's the right way to do. So, of course, he opened the place, and after a few initial hiccups, it has become a huge success. And the beautiful thing, it's still a huge success. People go there, have a great time, enjoy the products, spend a lot of time, and keep coming back. So, any wild guesses? Who do I have in mind when I talk about this? Who the gentleman is, who the place is, the company? Interesting. and I'll tell you why. No, I was actually thinking about Disneyland. So many of you have been to Disneyland, magical place. Oh, it's supposed to be a movie, but it is, maybe it'll play, no. It's designed and opened in 1955. By that time, Walt Disney and Disney Company already had 30 years of production of films, feature films. By that time, they had more than a dozen full-length feature films, animated or live action. And we all know people love them. Like even now, those classics, Pinocchio, Snow White, Robin, Peter Pan, are just something that people, even today, especially kids, enjoy. Of course, as I said, there were a few initial hiccups, and, but nevertheless, like, he didn't give up. What he did, a few takeaway lessons for him that is really important, and why am I mentioning this? Walt Disney felt right off the bat that he needs to divide the business in two important segments. One segment is front of house, something they call on stage. On stage is a very controlled environment. So everything on stage is completely choreographed. The design of the props, of the staff, of the set, of the dynamic interactions between the staff and the customers, the visitors that they're calling, is almost completely scripted. There's actually improvisation is scripted in a way that says, like, the improvisation can go here, but within these guidelines, right? So which is really great. So every customer experience in this particular front house, on stage, is controlled. But of course, he realized he needs a super solid back of house to support all of that. And that, again, that's something we talked about in the sessions as well. The solid front house cannot live without super solid front house. Everything that relates to inventory, security, dynamic staff, just everything needed to be in place. So a second important lesson is the way he used media. So once he created this great experience for people, media said, wow, this is a fantastic place. This is the greatest backdrop that we can ever have for anything. So Disney did not charge media to come into Disneyland to record kids programming or even other kinds of entertainment. And they love it. So anywhere that they point camera, they have beautiful shots, right? So it was free advertisement for them. I think that's those two things, like how do you treat the media, how to send the message out, and the solid back of house that supports the really well-designed and choreographed front house is something that the reason I wanted to show you this. So the beautiful thing today, as we all know, Mickey Mouse up to date with the universal appeal is our cell phone. And I don't think there's anything more appealing to, like, all demographics, all continents, all like everybody, that their cell phone. Like, especially they have smartphone, and the way we use smartphone as our own computers for entertainment, for communication, for, yeah, I don't even, it's like, it's crazy. People sleep with it, people go to washroom with it, which is just gross, but anyway. Good news is, of course, that you are in this industry. The bad news, everybody else wants to be here too. Big boxes, convenience stores, department stores, grocery stores, let alone online retailers. They're really, everybody's getting in there. So, all right. So this is probably a question for the panel rather than for a single presentation. So I'll be free to assume that some of you feel, yeah, I think like business as usual. We'll just try to enhance certain like, you know, distribution channels, work on staff, work on training. You know, it'll like slow evolution will take me where I need to be in 5 years. But some of you are maybe a little bit more concerned and say, you know, we just heard all about this, what Marcelo has with the virtual inventory is like, and you know, Amazon and all other online retailers, like, how can I, you know, how can I fight with that? How can I compete with that? Is there a way to do it? So I would like to actually talk about, as really to simplify, talk about two different things that might be a problem, either today, especially 5 years or 10 years down the road. I divided it in clicks and bricks. So the clicks would be any kind of usage of online content, so any kind of interaction that relates, whether it's on your mobile, whether it's at work, on your tablets, on your computer. You'll see, it's omnipresent, and that's why I'll just call it clicks. Zmod is something we'll be talking in a few seconds. The second problem is bricks. Is there something, and what is it that we can enhance about the brick and mortar? What is it, how can we enhance these spaces that you have? By no means, don't get me wrong, I don't think that your spaces look like this, but I need to find something to exaggerate the problem a little bit. And we'll be talking about dreaming, exploring, and locating mindset. So let's go to zero moment of truth, Zmod. This is a Google thing. So, you know, they're advertising a little bit of their advertising program, AdWord, and similar. But it makes a lot of sense. And you know, when you see it, you'll actually say, hey, I'm actually doing that. So traditionally, what we had is a very linear process as a customer journey. Like he has a stimulus through traditional advertising, whether on TV or newspapers or anything similar. And the stimulus takes him to the stores. And at the store, he's experiencing the first moment of truth. Right? He's picking the product right off the shelf, and he says, OK, I can do this and that. And so that's pretty cool. He buys the product, leaves the store, and through the experience, he gets the second moment of truth. Right? What we have right now, right after the stimulus, there's something very powerful that's happening, which is zero moment of truth. You can see as soon as you have that initial stimulus, whether through regular, traditional advertising, whether just by walking down the street, talking to somebody, watching television programming, you go online right off the bat, on your phone, on your tablet or laptop, and you go check. You go look for that product, look for that service, look for that travel arrangement, whatever. What are you checking are the manufacturers' websites, you're checking the retailers' websites, you're checking the brand itself, you're checking the videos, their blogs, the social networks. There's like so many sources people are checking. Zmod at this point is it's creating complete disruption in the process. Even if you put traditional, like let's say, for example, you put a lot of money, or let's say not you, maybe, I don't know, a furniture store or something. They put a lot of money in this particular product, and they say available only at bricks. And you actually go and search for it, and you find it in many other places, of course. Like you can do it in seconds and say, why do I even need to go to bricks? I'll go elsewhere. I'll just find it, locate it, and I'll go there. The beautiful thing about zero moment of truth, at the second moment of truth, somebody else's experience is becoming zero moment of truth. Really powerful. What are the characteristics of zero moment of truth? It's online and it's real time. It's happening all the time online. Consumer is in complete control. There's no way you can steer them away from what they're looking for. It is very emotional. Of course it is. It's happening right after the stimulus. So it must be very emotional. And it's conversational. So as people are checking either blogs or reviews or social network, it's the conversation happening. You have conversation with friends and family, but you also have something that's completely unknown. You don't know them. You just check it because you trust them. I don't know what that is. Like, even though they're anonymous or something, you trust them because they've been there. They wouldn't lie to you. How influential is it? Very much so. These are the categories, the industries. The fourth column is the most important. The travel, 99%. This is the survey by Google Shopper Science from last year. 99% of people, all of us, are going online when you want to travel something. Travel arrangements, where you want to go. You're checking TripAdvisor. You're checking whatnot. What concerns us the most is technology, consumer electronics. Very, very high, 92%. 15 sources, 14.8 sources. So as somebody is looking to check for the new Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy phone, they'll actually go to many places to check for that. So we'll just leave it at that for now. Let's quickly switch to dreaming, exploring, locating. So what the hell is that? This is a model introduced by Fitch, which is a global design consultancy agency. They make some pretty cool projects. They are focused on retail experiences, retail spaces, but really they look at the things holistically in the context of wider brand experience. So dreaming, exploring, and locating, what they say is pretty much what we said in the ZMOD. Shopping is anywhere, anytime. Customer switches between these three mindsets constantly, whether they're online, in-store, or out-of-store. So as soon as some kind of stimulus comes around, regardless if I'm in-store, out-of-store, whether I'm just sitting and online looking for something, this is what's happening. This is the reason I really wanted to communicate this with you, because I think you should understand what these mindsets are. This is what's going through your customer's head as they're planning to buy a device. Maybe they are at home, and maybe they're in your store. So this, in the dreaming mindset, what's happening is this is really relaxing and fun mindset. They want to have fun as they learn about new things. They think about new ideas, the inspiration, and it's the bottom line. They literally just want to have fun doing it. They're in the open state of mind. They really want to be influenced by other things. As an example, I'll use IKEA. All of us have been to IKEA. The first thing when you go in there, for a second, I'll just pretend that we'll just switch off online for a second. We'll just talk about the in-store. As you go in there, you see the showrooms. They're really, like, the first showrooms are room-based. So you see living rooms, you see the bedroom, the kids' room, etc. And they're so perfectly designed. Just think about the Disney as well. So front of house is so nicely designed. Every little props is right where it needs to be. All the lights are really so inviting. They really want to say, hey, come in here. Just be immersed in this. And just think about how these things would enhance your life. How would it make it better? So the next one is exploring. This is starting to narrow down the funnel. We are now at the center. So the customer has few options in mind. He knows about the category. He has kind of some ideas, but he's really still open for suggestions. At this point, he needs to asking for ability to browse easily, to compare the products, and to be able to effectively narrow down his choices. Again, if you're looking for lamps or any other products at IKEA as you're walking down the store, it's a nice grouping is like for everywhere, everything there. These areas are product-based. These showrooms are product-based rather than room-based. But also, as you go, you will notice you will still have smaller sections that are addressing the dreaming. And remember what I said just at the beginning of this section. They're constantly changing these mindsets. They go to locating, and then they go to exploring, and then they go to dreaming, and like it's just mixing all the time. Locating, this is what is traditionally known as retail, and this is what we're all paying attention. So people are looking for specific things. They want to be easy to find, easy to pay, and go and enjoy it. And of course, at this point, price plays a big role here. Again, going back to IKEA, once you know what you want to find, you go to their warehouse. And you can easily identify the bin, the aisle where the product is. So even the biggest and bulkiest items, they're so well packed that you can put it in your car and take it home. So the current brick and mortar state, not just in wireless, but everywhere. Locating mindset is enough traditionally. That was enough, but for many, not anymore. Exploring, so addressing the exploring mindset is a new differentiator. A lot of retailers that are paying close attention to how to address this exploring mindset are already gaining a really good results. And dreaming is still largely untapped. Not a lot of retailers are actually thinking about this category at all, especially the brick and mortar retailers. It's just that this particular model just didn't come to their planning just yet. So that's what I'm thinking about, the particular problem and what the clicks and bricks, the problems are, and just the deconstruction of, so you get a better understanding of what is in customers' mind. So all of those things are pretty universal. There's really, it's almost like scientifically proven. And you'll see it later. I'll talk about a few other things. So as we know what the problem is, let's try to define what the next generation of the stores would look like. In the recent white paper by Deloitte called Store 3.0, close to 40 executives of the biggest retail chains and organizations in North America were surveyed. And some of those retailers, they have revenue in billions, so they're pretty good voices out there. So the general conclusion was that the role of the physical space is shifting from transactional model to an experiential one, in which customers have personalized experience with the brand. In fact, 85% of respondents indicated that in 5 years, providing customers with compelling brand experience will become a primary role of the store, eclipsing traditional shopping, 79%. What does that really mean? These are 3 words that we'd like to take as an essence of this and that we'd like to talk about. Personalized brand experience. This is what all of this really is. So without the particular order, I talk about brand really quickly. Because there's a lot of confusion, especially in the wireless system. Not confusion, there's restrictions, let's put it this way. A lot of you are single carrier dealers, retailers. Some of you are multi-carrier. I think multi-carriers, they have that comfort of defining them brand a little better. But it doesn't mean that if you are a single carrier retailer, you don't have to have your own brand. Brand is not the logo, the colors. Brand is this. Brand is clarity, consistency, and character. For you, clarity is fairly simple because it's quite clear what you're doing. You're selling these mobile devices of different kinds and all the support that goes with it, the plans, etc. Consistency, you've been doing it consistently over time. And what you're trying to do is do it consistently across the channels, hopefully. But what is brand really is third C, is a character. What are you communicating? What is your character? Character can also be defined as big idea. The big idea actually translates to a character. So what could be a big idea of, if I can give a suggestion, big idea of your industry? Really noble one. Enabling communication between people. This is actually your big idea, like the big idea of the whole industry. But I think you should make an exercise and think about the organization that you're working, that you're running, locations that you have, demographic that you have, staff that you're working with. Is there something that we'd really like to have as a big idea, and that you like to communicate it down to the character that can be felt in any channel, in any store, with any employees? That is a brand. And the brand experience. Experience brings us to the main part of the presentation, which is 5 checkpoints, basically, for the next generation of retail stores. We saw in Doug's presentation, and also, I'm just following a lot of different sources. 2 models that are emerging are experience and convenience. You say, oh, we know that story already. But I wanted sort of to give you a quick 5 checkpoints. What would that experience model contain? So the first checkpoint is online in-store. Relationship. Checkout anywhere. In-store edutainment. And social hub. We'll dive into each one of these very soon, but you'll notice that first 3 of these are colored yellow, because I think these 3 would actually be really good for the convenience model. So I'm really not trying to go like too much in the future. I'm just trying to almost thinking in a practical way of something that you can actually implement tomorrow. So I have a video after this. I'm not sure if it'll play, but let's give it a try.
Hi, welcome to AT&T's flagship store located in Chicago on Michigan Avenue. This store is really about bringing our AT&T brand to life for our customers and inviting them to come in, explore, and see how our technology can help improve their lives. Right now we're in our apps lounge and over by one of our apps surface tables. And this area is really to showcase customers all of our different applications. I think applications can be a little bit intimidating for customers. If you look in any marketplace, there's hundreds of thousands of apps. And we really wanted to show you what are the ones that you want to use, what's easy and fun, and that's what this area is all about. In our Street Smart section, you can learn more about how AT&T is helping make driving easier and safer. Today we're showcasing AT&T's Drive Mode, which will enable customers to turn off their text messages while they're driving, to decrease any distractions and help keep them safer. This goes hand in hand with our It Can Wait campaign. We're also showcasing a little bit of the future with our AT&T Foundry products that customers will be able to preview here, and it'll show them how in the future AT&T will be able to bring their family even more peace of mind while driving.
Well, this is our gallery, so this is really kind of a boutique feel back in this area. We wanted to showcase local Chicago artists.
It's called Chicagoland because we really want to immerse the customers in the overall experience of Chicago. And we have the power bag. So when you open the power bag up, it enables the customers to charge up to 4 devices at once, and they can always stay charged on the go. We have a huge biking community here in Chicago, so we want to make sure that they're also able to utilize the products and services we have. So we have the mounting for the bicycle, and it allows the customer to put their device here.
Here in our Digital Life section, we're really showcasing all the advances that AT&T has made in digital life, and the ability to monitor your home from afar, adjust your thermostat, lock and unlock your doors, and all of the peace of mind that our customers will have. Our AT&T flagship store is really about showcasing all that our customers can do with our technology and how everything working together can help improve their lives. Rather than focusing on a specific device or application, we're highlighting how it all works together and fits into our customers' lives. So if you're in the Chicago area, I really hope to see you soon.
Doesn't this remind you of Disneyland front of house on stage, and also IKEA showrooms as well? So this is how they're addressing the dreaming, exploring, and locating all in the same place. But wait, there must be a problem there. Of course there is. It costs millions of dollars for a single store. It is a flagship, and it is a destination store, but I just heard yesterday from Mark Butler, I think, they're selling like crazy. They're just selling like crazy. So how can I use any of that? This is what I'll try to do. I'll try to deconstruct what they've done in these 5 checkpoints and see if there's a scalable way for you to address some of these checkpoints. All right, so let's start with the first one, online in-store. This is not about putting your website, if you have it, in there. This is about the whole mindset. You saw that the customer is in complete control now. So if they already come to your store somehow, you really need to think about the mental model that they're in right now. They want to be in the full control of the experience. They're really, everything that is in-store need to follow what's online, right? The ability for them to search for things needs to be similar in-store. It's a different medium, it's a different experience, but that mental model needs to be addressed. So what we need to do is to allow for full personalization and customization with efficient locating, exploring that we talked about, with or without sales rep. So that's what I'm saying. This is the model that they are used to right now. I want to do it by myself. So to some degrees, we know that the sales tactic is the one thing, but this is something you need to talk about because the consumer is changing. They want to be given some freedom as they come to your store. They want to feel as if they're searching online. No pressure, maybe for some time. Immediate, contextual, and transparent product information, price, and reviews. Immediate and contextual means, again, addressing at Zmot something that is happening in real time. So if they are at your store, they do not have to wait for sales rep that is busy for 15 minutes just to get some information. They need to be able to get that information anywhere they are in the store. You know, that if there's a display there, they need to be able to go there and find it. Contextual. If they're looking for Bluetooth, they need to be able, like, super quickly to find the Bluetooth information. Of course, in the best case scenario, you have a sales rep right next to them. But what if you're super busy? Even if you're not super busy, it's much better experience to offer that. Transparent is something we'll be talking just in a couple of seconds. Finding, paying, taking away the product in seconds, be super efficient once we come to that final stage. If things are not in stock, and this is something that Marcella was talking about, if things are not in stock, allow immediate ordering, drop ship, or collect in store. This will be down, like as we're going down the road, one of the major benefits that the stores will have to address. We come to the second checkpoint, it's relationship. Any good retailer knows that relationship is the key for the long-term successful business. No matter what industry, what vertical the retailer it is that personal relationship. That is the reason why Disney wanted to open the place. That is the reason why Steve Jobs wanted to open the place, because as some of you said in the back, Steve Jobs and Apple were actually inspired by Disneyland to create the Apple Store exactly as it is right now. They went like deeply in there and say, what we really need, we need that face-to-face contact with customers. We need that feedback. We need to be able to communicate our brand, our products even closer. But we need also, as you noticed, we also need a space where there'd be much more things to do than just finding the product. So relationship, one thing, one word that comes to your mind when you say relationship. Single word. Trust. No matter it's a romantic relationship or any kind of relationship, trust is number one. Do you think that the customers that are coming to your stores, do they believe what the sales reps are talking to them? According to studies, I don't have numbers here, but you can find it on our website in the material that's related to this presentation. The huge number of customers think they know more and they know better than the sales rep. So they don't really ask them that much anymore. What you had traditionally, sales reps were pretty superior. So the customers would come to sales rep, they trust them because they don't have any other sources. But of course, right now, the past couple of years, things have completely reversed. The customers, as they come in the store looking for a specific product or category of products, they know way more because they really did their homework. What we're trying to do here, to emphasize here, trust. Once you have these new tools in place, you can actually bring sales rep and the customers on the same page or on the same screen. Saying that really allows a conversation, a meaningful conversation to happen. At this point, you say, okay, like we're on the same page, I understand. You know, I can see the price reviews, I can see like all of the things that I need to know. But you're happy about it. I'm not, nobody's hiding anything from anybody. I'm not opening my little cell phone and looking for prices on Amazon or something. I'm trying to have a long-term relationship with you. I will offer you this phone, but I'll offer you much more than the phone itself. This is how you start with the relationship. You guys are offering a lot of other things. You get discounts and stuff. Maybe some of you are offering training. You can offer a free service or similar things. Once they get that trust, once they get that they're happy to stay there. And there's a few other tools, like they're almost psychological, that is really good to know. So the relationship, really important one. Check out anywhere. It is said that the two things that are most memorable about any kind of experience is the peak of the experience and the end of the experience. If you translate that to the in-store experience, best in-store experience that people can have in their customer journey can be wiped out by bad checkout experience. We are all struggling with the activations are pretty long, and it's just the way it is. That's why the industry is like, well, but how can you, is there something that you can do to make it better? Is there something you can address for like really quick sales? You know, a lot of retailers out there are thinking about solutions like mobile POS, mobile payments, contactless payments. You've heard of NFC. We'll see if that's going to fly. But this is an integral part of what you want to do. If we extend this slightly to online, we'd like customers to be able to check out literally anywhere. In-store, out-of-store, online, that would be ideal. But again, we know the constraints of this industry. So for now, we know that a lot of sales that if you're an AT&T dealer, if you send them to the website, it is most likely they'll go to AT&T and make a profit for them rather than for you. So what I'm trying to focus here is really the brick and mortar. So those three elements would conclude the convenience model. If we can be efficient about checkout anywhere, relationship, and especially online in-store, these elements that address the new mental model of the customers today, that would be pretty awesome. So let's talk about the experience model. Two other checkpoints that would define experience model. Some of you will think about, yeah, this is sort of intangible, and this is, I'm not exactly sure what to think about. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to apply any of that. And of course, I would say, this is where it gets goofy.
I bought something from you last week, and I'm very disappointed.
Oh, yeah? What's the problem?
Yeah, well, my BlackBerry is not working.
What's the matter? Run out of juice?
No, it's completely frozen.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. I'll tell you what. Let's try it on orange.
That's got a few black spots, you see.
Oh, dear, yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Was there anything I can do to get my BlackBerry working?
Well, it could be an application issue. But where do you store that BlackBerry?
Well, it's on my desktop.
Well, you could try using a mouse to drag the BlackBerry to the trash. Then after you've done that, you might want to launch the BlackBerry from the desktop.
Well, I've already tried that a few times. I mean, all it did was mess up Windows.
Well, it might be worth waiting a couple of weeks. They got the latest BlackBerries coming in then.
Well, could you give me a date?
Certainly.
Let me put that date in my diary.
Anything else I can help you with?
Yes, I've also got a problem, to be honest, with my Apple.
Oh, dear, that is an old Apple, isn't it?
Yeah.
When did you buy that?
Last week.
Last week? Oh, they brought out 2 new Apples since then. What's the problem with it?
Well, I've tried to put my dongle in it, and it won't fit.
Oh, yeah. And how big's your dongle?
Well, I don't know much about these things, but my wife's seen a few dongles in her time. And she says it's a little bit on the small side.
Well, I'm afraid there's not a lot I can do about that. Tell you what, let me try booting it. No, it's crashed. Anything else I can help you with?
Well, funnily enough, yes, my grandson's birthday soon, you see. Now, he's already got an apple and a blackberry. I mean, have you got anything else that you might just like?
Well, we're doing a special offer on these. I mean, I can't make head or tail of them, but the kids seem to like them.
Oh, yeah.
Xbox. 360.
Xbox 360. Maybe you should start selling it. I don't know. This brings us to the next checkpoint. Not only I wanted to have a little break, but I really, what I tried to demonstrate is that humor and entertainment in general is that the fastest way to bring people to that dreaming mindset. And that dreaming mindset is something that really differentiates the convenience model that is addressing locating and exploring, and the experience model that is addressing, in addition to that, the dreaming one. Edutainment, of course, stands for education and entertainment. Now, it just crossed my mind that if you actually think about the summit, the place where you came to, you saw the ads, you saw our website, the summit website. We really wanted to play on a little bit like futuristic theme. It was all like really very serious things are happening. Future is happening right now, and you saw the brand is all very kind of big and serious. But then what we really like to do at IQmetrics, and especially at this summit, we like to turn things around a bit. And then last night you have Back to Future party, going back to 80s, and all the videos that you've seen at the beginning of each session. We really try to use the comedy a lot, and you had a chance to talk to our CMS and sales and stuff. You can see that the people that you're dealing with are actually trying to educate you, but also trying to entertain you as well. So if you think about that model, and that is exactly what I'm talking about in here. You guys have by far the coolest, the sexiest technology on a consumer level ever. That's what you're carrying. That's what you're selling. That is your message. That should be your message. But the problem is the medium, as Marshall McLuhan would say, medium is the message. The medium, your stores, are not sending that message. No matter, probably stores like AT&T that you just saw are sending that message. And that's why they have so much sale. And that's why they're super hyped. Because as you walk in there, you suddenly see all these options. Not only you see all these options, you have fun exploring. Oh, like, you know, look at that equipment that I can have. I'm a biker, you know, I can just put it on my bike. Or as I'm driving, I look at all these things that I can do. Or, you know, in my home. That is the principle. I'm not saying that you should do exactly like that, but that is the principle. But what you could do, though, you can utilize the equipment that you're selling and just put it in different kind of environment station settings. There's the hundreds of thousands of apps out there. If you think about one of the things that is setting apart brick and mortar from online, you can actually engage as many senses as possible. Vision, hearing, touch. I even heard some of our retailers, they have coffee shops in their stores, which is, I find, pretty cool. And you'll see later why is that not just cool, but really important. Oh, I'm not saying that you should all have coffee shops, but what I'm trying to really do here is talk about principles. All of this is really important to put them in the dreaming state of mind. The dreaming state of mind, they're an open state of mind. They like to be influenced, right? They like new ideas. They like to be inspired. This is exactly where you can come, you know. All right, let's talk about that later. That is about entertainment. Education. I'm really happy that I heard that some of you already are doing this in either formal or informal way. Tutorials, advices, quick fixes. If you are doing it, do it even more. Be generous and promote it. One of the reasons I said People are not buying your product just for the product. They will buy it online. But if you offer them ecosystem, if you offer them security, they know if they come to your store and there's something's wrong, there's somebody be really there to genuinely help them, not just as a task. That should be your character. You should communicate that. I couldn't find a better picture to explain what is in-store edutainment. These are Microsoft stores. And what they've done here, I can actually demonstrate 3 things that we talked about already. One is relationship. So you can see they have a greeters right in the middle. So what the greeters are doing, they're just making sure, exactly the same as the AT&T store. I was like doing my homework and do a lot of reading about that new store. The staff is instructed to greet the customers within the 10 feet as they come into the store. And the greeting them is all they need to do. If customers have questions, of course, they take them where they need to go. No sales pitch whatsoever. Let them explore. What you have on the left-hand side is education. So the setup is pretty simple, comfortable enough, but it's really clear, like even if you're walking by, there's something happening there. You know, if I'm their customer, I can actually find the support there really easily. On the right-hand side, by far the cheapest and best window display I've ever seen. They've just put a Kinect on the other side. They put few chairs that kind of simulate the living room, and they have customers in their window display enjoying their products. That is by far the coolest thing. Just think about the buzz in your store. Just think about the energy that you know, the Microsoft is producing at this particular point. Media is there. Even the adults, they're really enjoying it. I was enjoying it. I tried it myself. I was part of their Windows Play. I was part of the advertising without knowing it. Very clever. Super simple, super cheap. They had 2 armchairs, a TV set, and the Kinect, not more than $1,000 altogether. Why is all this important? William White was a pioneer American urbanist who studied the pedestrian circulation. He was really interested in how to improve American public places, streets and public squares and other public places. What he did, he put a lot of time-lapse cameras. He put a lot of his assistants on the street, and they were tracking what people are doing on streets. He said what attracts people the most, it would appear, is other people. If you think about your experience, your life experience, if you go to a restaurant or shopping or whatever, does that make sense? I think it does a lot. Talking about people actually brings us to the last checkpoint. It's a social hub. We all know, like, no matter how much buying online, no matter how, shopping is a beautiful social experience. And friends and family and, even like going solo is really something that you really enjoy, not just because it's a chore that you have to do, you need something to do. Like, it's a way to relax, really. And we should think about how shall we use it? Now, putting that in the context of the physical place, sociability is one of the 4 qualities of successful public place. What are the other ones? Accessibility, and you know that in retail, 3 most important things, traditionally, location, location, location. You're all aware of that. That's accessibility. Uses and activities is something we just talked about in the checkpoint 4, in-store edutainment. So now let's talk about comfort and image. That's about design. Comfort and image, ultimate goal is to relax people. This is a study of Columbia University in 2011 called Relaxation Increases Monetary Valuation. It's been shown, scientifically apparently, that people would actually value certain items 10 to 15% more when they're relaxed versus being non-relaxed at the regular level. So scientifically proven. Now, would this environment relax you? or anybody? Probably not that much. What about this environment? That looks pretty relaxing. Would you like to hang out here? I know I would. But let's deconstruct, why is this relaxing environment? This is the Starbucks in Amsterdam, recently opened. And if you notice the new generation of Starbucks, even in where you are, they're already using a few elements from this design in their new fixtures, in their new furniture. What they used a lot are two new disciplines. One is called biophilia. And the science that actually is like keeping the biophilia in check and making sure that this is not some kind of fancy fad is psychophysiology. Biophilia monitors the influence of the environments on people's physiological states. And it's been shown that certain environments is really able to decrease the stress level, to decrease the blood pressure, to slow down the heart rate, and really to offer ability people to focus, to be in much more open state of mind. So designers have already started to implement this. You can notice the use of wood, lots of wood, and lots of unfinished wood, lots of randomness on the edges. You can see a variety of seating, you can see a variety of layout, you can see carefully placed light fixtures, none of them direct, no neon whatsoever. Even the daylight is carefully combined with the localized lights. Now, these are the elements that are easily scalable from the Starbucks point of view, and they have already started, and I've seen quite a few Starbucks already that are completely plastered in wooden planks, reclaimed wooden planks. They're not perfect. No, they're not smooth, and that's exactly what they're going for. Because what I just told you about the reaction of human body is not a survey. It's not a research that is subjective. This is clinically tested. Clinically tested. It's completely objective information. People have the tendency to be relaxed in this kind of environments, and they really want to spend time in this kind of environments. After some time, they become almost addictive to this kind of environments. So it's not a passing fad from Starbucks. They go, oh, we go after a mountain cabin feel or something. No, they know that people will love to come back because of this, because of the environment itself. But you would say, like, I'm not in food and beverage. I don't sell coffee. So I try to find a few examples from our industry, from wireless retailers. This is O2 Store in London. The store is almost, I think, 2 years old, but you can see the versatility of the programming in Store Edutainment and even the designs that are pretty funky, eclectic, but also very comfortable. This is a little app lounge that you can just hang out and check new apps. Just look at the other elements. Like even the scale. Working with scale can help a lot to bring the space to make it much more intimate. There's a lot of things. I can talk for hours. I'm just, design enthusiast. But, and I work with spaces, so let's take it further. On the other side of this particular thing, there's a little workstation. You can come in, use a free Wi-Fi, free power, of course. This is for like small business owners, if they need to work somewhere. Why work from the coffee shop? Please come to our stores. Like, we'll offer you a little simple desk, but just be here with us. You'll be fine. They even have a little meeting room over there. Another example, this is the Telecom Store New Zealand in Wellington. Just look how playful, eclectic, and like really easygoing this place is. Exposed bricks, really careful lighting. Some reclaimed wooden planks as well. This is another angle. Just look at the variety of seating options over there. And people can, if they really want, just hang out. But they can be super efficient in this environment, addressing locating, exploring, and dreaming as well. Coming back to Microsoft Store's super simple setup, really. You can say like even the smaller footprint can use this principle. How about addressing if your customer has kids? That's a big hurdle. What do you do with the small kids? How do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them, I have a 30-minute activation here, and somebody has to watch after my kids, and I don't have time. Okay, I need to wrap up really quickly. Exactly what Apple's doing. If you go there, just a few cushions. The bottom line is the more time they spend in your store, the more money they spend. That's the bottom line, really. So a few simple things. Think about that communal table that we saw in the Starbucks store. If you had something like this is flex space that can easily be used for sales and other events. Think about wide demographic, from kids to elderly. Consider seating. Now, this seating would say, relax, have a nap. You don't want that. This seating would say, hey, relax. You're now ready to actively participate in what maybe sales process is, or a certain pitch that you have, or just meaningful conversation. In-store design, if not carrier constrained, consider these biophilic elements that we talked about. Being local is a big thing. The AT&T store is Chicago-centric, as you saw it, for a reason. They really want to be part of the community. Main message that you want to send as a brand, as a retailer, it says we really care. We care about you as customers, we care about you as a long-term customers, we care about this community where we are. Also, positive vibe. One of the big hurdles is your staff turnover. This particular environment, this particular interactions that we're trying to communicate is really something that would help with your staff. And of course, coming back to Disney and the way he used media to send a message, people love to share good experiences these days. Coming back to Zmot, right? This is where other experiences from other people can actually tune in, become a Zmot for you, for your stores. The bottom line is, this really will do the advertisement for you on its own. If you have this kind of experience in your stores, if you have quality products that everybody has the same product, pretty much. This is something that can deeply enhance not only customers, but your staff and your just overall brand. And now a lot of these principles is really something that you can just really think about. There might be some different outputs that you can, different results that you can be, output of your thinking. How do you make these principles come to life? But the important thing that all of these tools would need to have metrics to have that complete loop, right? And that, again, that was the reason why we called IQ metrics. We were really thinking about these things. Without metrics anymore, all these fairly intangible principles, would just be smoke. But luckily now we have metrics, and it's been shown, even like the biggest retailers, that it really makes the revolution in the overall experience and of course in the sales process. So this is a little cheat sheet that you can find on iqmetrics.com. We had a 5-part blog that is going in much deeper depth in what we talked about there. I just tried to extract something that will be easy to communicate. This is the most important thing. We'd like to build new tools for you, such as XQ, RQ4, Pocket RQ Inventory, Pocket RQ Sales, etc. What we would love to hear from you is anything, especially in regards to store design. How do you think, what do you think works for you? What do you think doesn't work? Please share it with us. My email is right here. And I'm not sure if we have time for questions, but find me outside. I'll be there if you want to talk. You can contact any of our sales CMS. They can point you. So with that, I'd just like to conclude, and thank you so much for being here.